One of the things that I'm hearing from so many people during this time is how the uncertainty is really giving people a hard time. And so I want to share with you a story in hopes that it'll help you deal with the uncertainty that we are dealing with in this pandemic, of not knowing when this is going to end, when things are going to be opening up, what's around a corner. There is just so much uncertainty in our lives, in our world today. When I was a junior in high school, I was prepared to be the captain of our varsity basketball team. And I had worked so hard most of my life for that moment. And then a month before the season was to begin, I'm wrestling on a Friday night with my friend Gordon in our family room floor, and I felt something in my foot, specifically in the toes, and one of the joints was all swollen. And so we took a break and woke up the next morning, and it was not only in that toe, but the next joint was swollen. And the next day, the next joint was swollen. And so my parents took me to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, you must have just sprained it somehow. 4 to 6 weeks, it'll be better. Here's some anti-inflammatories to take, and here's some crutches, and you should be good." And so there I was on crutches around Mission Bay High School and taking those anti-inflammatories, and yet things only got worse. And so the season was supposed to start, and I went back to the doctor and told them things are only getting worse. So this time they started doing blood tests, and they shoot those joints with cortisone injections and add prednisone. And so I'm hoping to get back on the court, and things are just getting worse. Now I'm missing November, it's coming into December. All the way past Christmas, I go back to the doctor again. And this time they say, "Ryan, you have some rare kind of arthritis. We don't know what it is. We don't know whether it'll go away tomorrow. We don't know if you'll have it the rest of your life. But that's all we can tell you. If you want to try to play through the pain, it's up to you." And so I chose to try to play through the pain, but my junior year was extremely disappointing, and the pain that I was dealing with in that foot was really bad. And so that arthritis didn't go away, and it came into my senior year, and I couldn't even play my senior year. And that was the end of my basketball career. That was extremely disappointing. And I share that story with you because it probably would have been better in hindsight if I would have broken my arm or broken a bone that says, "All right, Ryan, 6 weeks and you'll be back good as new." And yet the uncertainty of this rare type of arthritis that I had made it even more challenging of what I had to go through at the time. And that's kind of where we are right now. People are struggling with the uncertainty of not knowing when's the end date on this and what's it going to look like. And so people, myself included, are really struggling. And what do we do with that uncertainty? There's two things that I could think of. And one is just something that I learned many years ago when I read a great book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he shared a story that was given from the Admiral Jim Stockdale in his book, Thoughts of a Philosophical Fighter Pilot, who was talking about what it was like to be a prisoner of war in Vietnam and the difference between those that really didn't make it and really struggled versus those that were able to persevere and make it through. And he said the key difference was that the optimists, the ones that said, "We're going to get out by Christmas, we're going to get out by Easter, we're going to get out by our birthday," that they would constantly set themselves up for disappointment. They're always looking to the future. In contrast, there are other POWs that would deal with the day-to-day, that they would just focus on what they had control over, and they would just take it one day at a time. I know it sounds cliche, but I think that's good advice for where we are, is to focus one day at a time, maybe one moment at a time. And I think that's a more helpful approach in what we are going through. The other thing that I want to share with you is this, is that there's no doubt that the end of my high school and playing career was extremely disappointing and heartbreaking. But that sent me on a different path to be a manager at UC Santa Barbara, to then become an assistant coach throughout California and Colorado, to meet now my wife, Amelia, to have a beautiful daughter in Allison, to then go to become a teacher, to then come to seminary, and now to be a pastor here at Slackwood. And I look at where my life is now, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. And so as I look backwards, even though I didn't see this at that time, it helped me learn to trust God. And I think that's another key component in what we're going through. That this is an opportunity through these challenges to try to trust God at a deeper level, to trust God in every aspect of our lives. And I believe that if we do that, that we will look back many years later and we will be glad that we did. And that we will be in a different place, but we will be in a better place. And we will be glad that we placed our trust in Jesus Christ. And so I want to encourage you, take it one day at a time. Take it one moment at a time. And each and every day, continue to place your trust in Jesus Christ. And he won't let you down. Thanks for listening.